For my whole career, I've used D'Addario strings.
This is the one that I use live with Megadeth, and I love it.
I've been with D'Addario my whole career, even when I was playing bass in Van Halen. D'Addario for life. And I say it right, D'Addario.
Gentlemen, what's the quickest way to improve your tone?
Oh, like and subscribe on YouTube.
Obviously, yeah, we'll keep you up to date on all that great gear that's out there.
Back to the rig rundown. Hey everyone, this is Chris Kies for Premier Guitar. We are at Bridgestone Arena in a special rig rundown that I know a lot of guys and girls have been waiting for. It's Linkin Park, and none other than that, we got Mike right here. Mike, how you doing?
Very good, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to start off, how much would you say that on a set or night to night that you're playing guitar versus keyboards? Because you do both.
Yeah, I mean it varies
Okay.
from show to show because we change. There's about a third of our set, and it changes based on what leg of the tour we're on.
Yeah.
But about a third of the set at this point we swap songs out.
Okay.
So, guitar songs might be in, they might be out. But yeah, it's probably probably about that much of the set spread out over the course of over 2 hours.
Okay.
And I jump back and forth between guitar, keyboard, some rapping, some singing, and then sometimes I'm doing all of those things in one song. Yeah.
Now, where does, because the technology has come so far with pedals and the way that they can almost mimic each other, for you, where does one instrument, when we're speaking keyboards and guitar, where does one instrument start and one instrument end? Because with a guitar, you can make it sound like a synth, and obviously synths can make string sounds too. So where for you as a instrumentalist, where they kind of blend and then make their own lane?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's good to say that my journey in music, as a fan becoming a music maker, started with producing stuff on my own. Mm-hmm. I was taking my primary instrument is piano. I took about 10 to 12 years of classical. And at the end of that, I told my teacher, I'm listening to these rap songs with jazz and funk and stuff like that, and I would love to learn to play some jazz. And she said, well, I really don't teach that. I'm not the best person for that. So she led me towards production, which got me into things like the MPC sampler. It got me into the Tascam Porta Studio 4-track.
Yeah. And
I started making tracks on my own at home. From there, I started to pick up guitar just as a function of liking how it sounded, and I taught it. I taught myself guitar. I learned it from my friends. I never took lessons, and so my way of playing is very, on one hand, it's very rudimentary and very simple, and that's, I think, honestly, what a lot of our fans like about it, because a person who's not that great at guitar can learn Linkin Park songs.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there is, because I'm working with the production side and the way I think about sounds. To get back to your question, a lot of the creativity goes into how does it sound?
Yeah.
Sometimes I am blending keyboards and guitars. Sometimes I'm affecting guitars with keyboard effects, and sometimes vice versa. I'll use keyboards and affect them with guitar effects.
Yeah. Now, how does that work with applying what you've known, and I guess we'll say on a scholastic way, being trained as a pianist? Yeah. How does that because that's probably a perspective that a normal guitar player wouldn't have without that background. How do you approach the instrument in that way? Obviously, you said you're self-taught on guitar, but yeah. I'm sure that informs still how you approach the instrument.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's a lot of, I feel like I learned playing in drop D, and I played that way for so long that a lot of it is almost like numerical.
Yeah.
For me, and it is informed by a lot of the basics of piano. But But yeah, I'll show you. I mean, we'll walk through some of it. I'll show you some of
Okay.
the stuff.
We'll talking about gear. Let's get right into guitars. I don't want to put you on the spot, but it sounds like you had ventured out of the arena and went to one of our fine establishments in the area.
Yes, it's Carter, right?
Yeah.
Carter Vintage Guitars. So our new drummer Colin, his family's from here, from Tennessee, and he's shopped at Carter's for a while. He was like, "Oh, have you been there? I got to take you over there. Like, it's my favorite spot." And yeah, I did see this. Like, it was a '65 Jaguar.
Okay.
That I don't have a Jaguar in my collection. I played our engineer who's worked on so many of our Ethan
Okay.
Nates. He has a he has a Jaguar that I played that I love. This one was special, and I ended up picking it up.
Right on.
Yeah.
So let's dive into guitars. You can just talk to us about which ones you want to talk about, and we can go from there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's like some highlights I could show you.
Yeah.
This is a fun one because it's like, at this point in our career, my Strat is a little bit of my kind of workhorse kind of thing I go to a lot.
Okay.
Played on what I've done, played on a lot of the new stuff. This one's just fun because there are these periods of time where I get bored on tour.
Yeah.
And I end up starting like paint on stuff. And this was one, I don't even know how far back I painted on this. I'm sure the internet will tell us.
Yes.
But yeah, I have a handful. I've been doing, just like getting bored and painting on guitars since maybe as early as maybe our second album, but maybe towards the end of our first.
Okay.
And so we just got these random guitars in the rigs that have my art on them.
Now, because you have so much, so much gear, I'm sure, in the locker back home, but then also just a catalog, how are you selecting guitars when it comes to doing tours?
Oh man, I do rely pretty heavily on the text for that.
Okay.
I have, at home, I have a custom shop Strat that I use almost exclusive. I have a couple of Strats, but there's one in particular that I use all the time. And even though that guitar like informs a lot of the sound on record, it's also like when we play live, I feel like I like to have a little variety, so we do pull from a lot of different guitars.
Okay.
Between, there's now 3 of us on stage playing guitar. 'Cause
Yeah.
Emily also plays.
Now, how does that, are you thinking of that equation too, like Brad and now Alex, and now with Emily involved, like, okay, well, if she's playing humbuckers or if Alex is playing humbuckers, and then, okay, maybe I got to go a different lane, because again, you're a producer, so you're thinking, where do I sit?
There's the toughest, I think a lot of people have talked about this, like one of the tough things is that in the studio, you might be layering, 2-3 different guitars, different amps, different settings, blah, 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 and then you've got to kind of like translate that to one, in some cases, one guy playing something, right? So that's where, in our case, like things like the Fractal come in.
Okay.
And we try and create between our techs and me, and now Colin actually helps out with that a bit too. I think Ethan Mates is in the mix too at some time. So we have a little small army of people kind of giving feedback and being like, well, I just feel like this isn't, quite filling the same space as what you've got on record, or it's to this or it's to that. Do
you try to mimic or capture as much as the recordings as possible, or do you let the live thing to your ear be its own kind of animal? It
evolves over time. So process-wise, this might be interesting to some people.
Absolutely.
So we in terms of like musical direction, I'm kind of the I'm in charge of it, like in a sense, where like things have to run through me a lot of times for an approval. I'm usually writing the set lists, and when we're on the road, we record all the shows. We record audio, we record video. Those get uploaded, and I check those. It's almost like a pop quiz. So like I won't check every night. Okay. In the beginning, like when we were first starting this tour, I checked a lot. Like I checked almost every night, and I was giving notes constantly. These days I check less regularly. It's always a surprise. Yeah. And it'll, a lot of times, especially as it comes to sounds that are a little wiggly, like a guitar, meaning in the beginning of the tour, I might have heard it one way, but as the sound of the mix gets refined, and we were playing stadiums average size might be in the 60, 70,000. And here we've more of an average of like 18 in the US in arenas. Very different venue, very
Indoor.
different sound. So I'm checking the mixes and checking the sounds of how everything's gluing together and making incremental changes. Sometimes it might be, hey, last leg, this song sounded great. Now I'm hearing this is not heavy enough, or it's a little, muddy on the bottom, or whatever it might be. It's like there are things you need to change as you go, and those get kind of changed on the fly.
Yeah. Now, to back up to the recording with From Zero, you were the producer, sole producer, at least credit-wise. How is that is that replicated like what you're explaining here, how you kind of envision everything and then orchestrate from there, or?
I'd say this is very much a team effort. With a record, you're trying to like achieve something that's in our case, we have like a wide range that is a goal, and that gets narrowed over time. Like as we start a record, we don't know what it's going to sound like, and then as we get through it, it gets more and more refined, and then towards the end, it's like, okay, this is the record, and everything has to like, we want to like, well, I think you get the point. With this live show, it's not that way. We've got the source material, and we want to do our best job of making the most exciting version of that. In some cases, that means, hey, the song doesn't sound enough like the record. And in other cases, we're changing quite a few things, and they're very subtle. They should give you the feeling that you want to get, but they don't actually sound like a record. So one of the fans' favorite songs these days is Waiting for the End, which is a song off of 1,000 Suns, our fourth record. And Waiting for the End, the arrangement of that song is actually very different than if you were to put the live recording from tonight up against the studio recording, you'll notice right away that there's a primary kind of ghostly guitar counter melody that goes against the vocal. On the record, that's a keyboard. Live, that's a guitar. The live drums come in kind of in a different way. At the end of the song, I switch to medium distortion, single note, and then a power chord. That is not on the record at all. And all those things we did and we added because over time we realized, in the context of a big rock show, when we don't have those things, the song, it just feels like it could go up a level. It needed a little more energy, and when we added those things, it did that.
That's cool that you're listening to that and almost feeling the song or the set as a organism, and you're looking for those types of plays to, I don't want to say punch it up, but change it and make it groove. Yeah.
Sometimes it means, in our case, sometimes it means making a song a little more live. Sometimes it means making it less live, where we want to lean heavier on the samples because, like, for example, Colin's like drum pads or something. Let's turn the live drums down a little bit. Let's turn those pads up more, because it provides variety in the set. It's like, this song becomes more cool when it sounds more like a breakbeat or something.
So let's keep cruising through guitars.
Cool. This is always a fan favorite. I'm gonna say Meteora era. Guitar that I played in the video. We believe it's for Faint. I had to confer with management. So if that's wrong, you can blame.
Someone's getting fired.
I don't know. So the truth is, like, you can blame me, but I'm not claiming to know. I just know that it was of that era. We think that it's Somewhere I Belong. Painted this for the video and then ended up just loving this. It's a PRS, like one of my favorite guitars in the rig. And I mean, this is very much that like early era Linkin Park guitar.
Now, is there tape like from on the fretboard, or is that just from you playing? Because it looks.
That actually, so all the distressed scratchiness on the fretboard was done. I did that when I painted the guitar. This is actually like duct tape and stencils and masking tape and stuff. This is a stencil that I believe I cut out. There's spray paint on there, paint pens, ink markers. And we had the strings were off, so I sanded all those down myself and then replaced, I scribbled these X's in here.
Great inlays.
It's a rough little thing. I mean, it's actually surprising that it's held up as well as it has. But that's probably because I'll as bad as like roughed up as this guitar looks, I'll actually treat it like, more carefully.
Right on.
Oh, and another thing that
Straps.
Yeah, I was gonna say like these are actually brand new. We have a friend in LA. The company is called Killspencer, and it's run by a guy named Spencer.
Okay, I was gonna say there's.
And he no, it's by a girl, and she had this
Hate
boyfriend.
Spencer,
hates
yeah.
Spencer. So Spencer, he makes leather goods. He makes amazing like bags and wallets, and he's done golf bags and basketballs and all this stuff. And it's always, there's a little bit of a military bent to it, really nice materials. And I found out that he's also a musician. He plays drums, he plays guitar, he loves recording in the same like space where he makes all of his stuff. So it seemed like really natural to like ask him to work on a couple straps. And he did these really soft, like you can feel that like, yeah. It's just such a like nice, I was telling our guys like every time one of these guitars came to me on stage when these are still like prototypes, but every time one gets handed to me, I'm like, oh, it's so exciting. Like, it feels so comfy. And we've got like four designs, but this one has all the different band logos from all the different eras, and the new one here. Some of the other ones have a little more plain, but one of them, yeah, here it is. So I don't want to knock this guy over. So this one, we designed it with a Velcro patch, so we can actually just replace these. We've got a whole bag of, where did they go? They're down here?
Oh yeah, there they are.
Yeah, so we got all these new patches. So this is new as of like tonight, actually.
That's
these like
flare.
These just came in. But what's nice is like, I was saying to the guys, like, these are different ones from different eras. Like maybe we play this, I'm playing this guitar on a Meteora era song, so I'm gonna use a Meteora logo on that strap. Or like, we're wearing red tonight, like here's a red one. So it's just fun to be able to like throw a different thing on there and make it customized.
Right on. I know that you got a baritone, SG.
Oh yeah. So
Pull
the
those
baritone,
out, give those some
well, so the SG, this one is, I always think of this one as like the Given Up guitar. We're using a Give It Up exclusively, or?
Good Things Go.
Oh, and Good Things Go too. This one, in the era of like, around our third record, we started like, on the first two records, I was playing a lot of PRS. Second record, a little bit more, I added in some more Ibanez guitars.
Okay.
Third record, we kind of tried to we're trying to change the dynamic of the guitars, and so started leaning on some different things. That's where the Strat showed up. That's where the SG showed up.
Okay.
So Given Up is a very punky, thrashy kind of sound. This is the sound of the song.
Who was in the PRS camp first, or the fan of the PRS? Was it you or Brad? Who brought the other one in? Okay.
Brad was the PRS guy. I was honestly along for the ride very much at that point. Like he grew up playing guitar. Like I met Brad because one of my best friends, whose name is Mark and I started the band together. Mark's bedroom window, like you could open his window and almost like if you took a broomstick, you could hit Brad's window.
Oh wow.
It was like a TV show. Their windows were right outside, right facing each other. And we'd be playing like Sega.
Yeah. We'd
be playing video games, and I could hear Brad like practicing Metallica at his house in his room. And yeah, Brad, as we started the band, like his favorite guitar was the PRS, or his favorite brand was PRS. And I think, that first Hybrid Theory was really a PRS and like dual rectifier kind of record.
Man, I remember those pairings. That was first time you saw, at least for me, was a PRS with the dual rec. That was a cool combo.
Yeah.
Can we see the baritone? I know that's something.
I love the baritone. This is the new record.
From Zero stuff.
The From Zero. One thing that happened on the new album, we started making songs. The new album was, it started with me and Joe and Dave just like messing around. And in the beginning, we started doing sessions and there was like no momentum. and I wouldn't see them for a few weeks, and then we'd start again, and there was a little momentum, and then like it built up to the point where, oh, we're now making songs. And eventually we met, Brad joined the fray and Colin joined the fray, and when we met Emily and started working with her more, her register's higher.
Yeah.
Right? Like she's got, and the sweet spot of that register, I started to learn where that was. And all of a sudden, like some of the other guitars weren't really doing it. I needed to go down a couple of steps, a couple of whole steps to get to her the best places. So when I needed to get down to B and A and so on, that's when a baritone showed up. And I happened to have baritone telly at home. It was a weird, I don't even know where I got it, honestly. It was like such a strange thing. And it just became the sound of like a song like Heavy as the Crown. Like that's really, I think, maybe the most signature version of that.
Okay.
Of this guy.
Now, you know, you kind of alluded to it there with the changing with Emily being and then the baritone introduced, but what would you say that your evolution of the guitar role in the band, you know, from the start of the band, Hybrid Theory, to where we are now, where do you feel that you've changed in terms of your application of your guitar playing?
I always feel like I have, when it comes to guitar, I really do have so much to learn.
But sometimes that's an asset, you know,
Yeah.
knowing too much can be...
That's what Colin always tells me, because I always tell him how good he is. And we were like, it's almost one of those things we've joked. I remember joking with Brad a couple times about like learning some more, and he said to me, totally like halfway joking, you know, don't get too good or it might like mess up the vibe. Like one of the things that works is that I do play by ear and by like almost like flat fingered. Like that's just how, part of it is, this is a weird thing, but I actually can't touch my shoulders. The fans make fun of me all the time. I have this like, there's a dexterity issue almost. So like my hand getting around the strings to the higher strings or the higher notes, it's a little tougher for me unless I like pull the neck way up here. And so for me, like just rocking with like this flat fingered kind of like almost more, one of the first like modern rock bands that I was just obsessed with was Rage Against the Machine.
Love them.
And that like funky kind of power chordy thing that I was hearing there was so influential to me. So I think that, you know, as we've gotten older, like I find new ways to do what I can with the kind of limited tools that I've got.
Yeah.
And honestly, some parts of it is like finding cool new patches and new effects and new sounds that I can make, because I am a fan of hip hop. I am a fan of like actually a lot of different types of music. So making things.
I mean, it's reflected in your guys' music itself.
Yeah. Sometimes the guitar parts. Sometimes there are things in our tracks that you don't even know are guitar. It's a sample, it's a sound, but it came from a guitar, and now I just use it. I, kind of chop it and cut and paste it.
So it sounds like gear can be an inspiration for you.
Huge inspiration for me.
Got it.
Yeah.
Was there anything particular that jumps out? It sounds like the baritone, obviously, but anything else from the From Zero sessions that gear-wise might have sparked?
Gosh, I have a couple of things. I mean, there's some things at home. I know there's a vintage, I'm blanking on the name of it, but fans of my Twitch stream will know which unit I'm talking about. I want to say it's called like the Echo Fix or something. I bought this unit and the glue had gone bad, and I put up with the smell of it for like a few weeks. And I was streaming on Twitch, so I was like making fun of it, how bad it smelled in my studio. And finally I sent it back, like talked to them and sent it back and got a new one. So Twitch fans, tell them in the comments what that unit was. I think it was Echo Fix, but that one was a big one. That was a good one. Kind of related to like a tape echo kind of thing, but it has like a spring reverb in there, and it's a mix of like analog and digital. Use that a bit. I think I went deeper into a lot of the Native Instruments stuff, to be honest. So I'm a big Native Instruments fan. I can show you around some of that stuff too. Actually, that would be
let's go up there.
fun.
Perfect segue.
Okay,
Let's do it.
let's do it.
Mike, we were up at your station up on the stage here in the round. So tell me about it.
This is my, it's a Native Instruments Complete Control. We got a Machine Mini, and this is the Ear-Ray. It's like a touchscreen controller, and you can design your own interfaces. So like we can put any shape we want. We can, some of them are like kind of like faders, some of them are buttons. You can turn things on and off. A lot of basic stuff. Some of it is like, you know, we make our own interesting shapes, and then we assign those to keys, basically. We assign them to sounds in the computer. I'm running Ableton, and then inside Ableton I'm running tons of different plugins that make sounds, the effects and things like that.
Man, tell me, maybe show some sounds, maybe the most identifiable stuff, because I'm swimming in some deep water.
Right, it's okay. So I understand, and that's kind of. It's also funny because like this is more my home even than the other thing, right? So when it comes to like very basic stuff, like your, you know, we've got our basic piano. This guy would be, let's see, this one is a contact instrument. It would be the Grandeur piano by Native Instruments. I've probably got about like, I think I probably use about 6 different piano sounds in the set.
Okay.
Some of them are brighter, some of them are darker, some of them sound big and bold, and some of them sound very soft and quiet. A couple of them are actually more like a, are you familiar with Mellotron?
Yeah, oh yeah.
So some of them are my version of a Mellotron, which is to say that a Mellotron was an instrument that before digital samplers, they had tape recordings of notes, and every single note you hit would be a recording. So what I've done on some of these is some of them are actual recordings for every single note of a different keyboard that I might have at home, or a sound like a piano. Other ones, it's one sample spread out through the whole thing. And so one of the coolest songs, I think, from the new album that we did, that we do live, is a song called Overflow. And this one is one where it's a couple layers of sounds. I want to say like 2, 3, 4 different sounds on top of each other just to make one note. And there's like a ghostly hoot kind of sound. There's a piano with like the attack cut off, and it cycles so that there's no decay. And then on top of that, all of these things here are different effects that I can just manually play with. So when we start that song, I always do like a little solo. I've done Metallica's One. I'll play Enjoy the Silence by Depeche Mode. And I try and change it up really often during, like, from night to night, so the fans kind of don't know what they're going to get. That's just on the intro. Then when the song starts, we do a really unique thing for us. We never do playback like a pre-recorded thing coming out of my rig or anything like that, except for this one thing in this song Overflow, because it's an evolving thing that happens over the course of like 3.5 minutes, and I can't play that and play the other parts. We could just put it on the track, on like a playback track, but I wanted to affect it myself. So when the song starts, all of these things are effects. Sorry, which one are we on? This one. So these two faders are 2 different like multi-effect layers.
Okay.
And then all these guys are. So when it starts, this was actually made on a Nord keyboard. And then I can start changing the sustain at the end of it. We add this really cool, oh no, it's not, I gotta do that later. Got some reverb, got some delay. You can really hear it there. Yeah. So almost like a DJ set for about 1.5 minutes. I do that as we start the song. And then as soon as the song starts, I switch to vocals, and then I go back to the piano.
Man. What do you have more fun playing, at least in a live setting? Guitar or this is...
I'm home on all of it.
Okay.
I can get pretty nerdy, get pretty complex in this world.
Yeah.
But but sometimes it's just about what the song needs. Like for what I've done, I'm switching between a very basic piano sound and a very straightforward, like distorted Strat. I guess it's like maybe a Bogner kind of distort. I don't remember exactly. I'm gonna guess it's something in that realm, but I'm not quite sure. And it's really just those two things and vocals. So like for what I've done, I start the song up here. And then as we get to the end of the intro, which is on the downbeat, I hold sustain pedal with this hand and I've got my guitar on and I go da-na-na-na-na. And after that, I've got to get into harmonies behind and go back to piano. So it's a dance between me and my tech where Mark will, as I play the last note of the loud parts, I go back to this on this hand while I'm holding the chord on my left hand.
Yeah.
And he fades the volume down on the guitar.
Wow. How many songs are you doing the double duty kind of dance?
Not many. Not many.
Okay.
It's pretty rare. I usually do one or the other. We've got a newer song called "Let You Fade," which has both guitar and piano on it, and it's that one is less playing over top of each other than that. It's more, as you can hear, that piano sound is very similar to the one I played you before on Overflow. But this one I play that, and then I just hold a sustain, and then I go to guitar and vocals for a while.
Have you ever thought of using a Keytar?
We played around with it. There are versions of it that I find less offensive, but I mean, they're usually like they're pretty corny to me. But it's all context, man. Like, I mean, it's not for me, but I feel like for other people with the right type of music and the right approach, like maybe it's great. We actually used it on, I think we used a MIDI guitar for one of our layers on one of the heaviest songs on the new record. There's a song called Casualty, and it's this thrashy metal punk kind of thing. Emily's like screaming. It's my loudest vocal I've ever done. And in all the loud parts, one of the layers is a MIDI guitar, which is basically, it's an acoustic instrument that reads the notes, converts it into MIDI, sends the MIDI to something else. The thing it's sending to is a keyboard, and that goes into a fractal, which makes it sound a little more like a guitar. So it's a weird mashup instrument.
It's a great signal path, you know what I mean? Like in and out.
It's crazy. But the thing is, the reason that was important, the reason we're excited by that on that song, is because when you're wiggling your fingers around or sliding or mutes or anything like that, that MIDI information is going to be very different than a key. Like you're just not going to get exactly the same thing trying to do it on a key. So the guitar version of it was cooler to us.
Well, Mike, I know we're going to get cruising through the other rigs, but I really appreciate your time.
Let me show you one more thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I just didn't want to take up too much of your time.
The last thing, I did want to show you one more thing.
Absolutely.
Last thing, on that note with the, Casualty was a guitar turning into a keyboard, turning into a guitar.
Yeah.
On my solo, I have a solo section in the set where I do a rap verse, and then I do like a keyboard melody, and then do a bunch of other stuff, yada yada yada. At the end of the thing, I wanted to do something that I felt like I've never really seen before, or something that is unique to me. And I found this way to do basically a scratch solo, like a DJ solo, but on keys. So I created this patch with a little bit of distortion, a little bit of delay, and if you think about a record, a DJ scratching a record, it's really just pitch, right? It's pitch going up and down, and it's forward or backward, and then they're using a transformer which turns the volume on or off. And so on and off is just this, and volume or pitch is just this. So at the end of my solo section, it's a. So that's my Tom Morello moment.
I was going to say, suck it, Tom Morello. Well, Mike, again, appreciate it, and I think it's a great thing I got to know is that, with Emily joining, it's not just you guys are just doing a legacy thing. You're doing Linkin Park moving forward, and it's great to see fans really energized. So thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
I appreciate it, and we're going to check out the rest of the gear.
Hey everybody, I'm John Bollinger with Premier Guitar. So, as many of you know, D'Addario's been a longtime friend of PG, sponsoring rig rundowns, and they're a longtime friend of all the players with their Players Circle rewards. I've been using it for years, and essentially, they will reward you for the gear you buy. Open it up, look inside, and there's a reward number. It's free and easy to sign up for. And as soon as you sign up, you immediately get some reward points just for putting your name in. After a while, you accumulate enough where you can buy more of this fantastic D'Addario gear. So as a Players Circle Rewards member, you get discounts on custom products and merch, you get free shipping, and you get a discount on the gear you're buying with your points or free gear, depending on that. And if you're charitable, you could donate your Players Reward points for musical education. So collect those points, buy the great gear, and let's get back to more rundowns.
All right, we are back down in the bunker. We are joined now by Tex, Mark, and Ben. How you guys doing?
Hello, doing pretty good, yeah.
Ben was, back of his head was in the Fall Out Boy rig rundown where he helped Joe bring out his Explorer, so...
Formerly been seen there, yeah.
But gentlemen, tell me about the Axe Effects setup and how you guys are using it for each guy.
So, I feel like nowadays with a lot of digital rigs, they're all kind of the same, you know? So we got like, this side is Mike's side, this side is the Brad side. Alex Feder currently covering for Brad. We can talk about that later. But we're going Axient, JX44, split into two fractals, and then we got the backtrack to split between the two if we have, if we need to go to the backup.
Okay.
Same thing on Mike's side, also pretty standard. And then we got the pedal boards down here. If we have any problems, I have to do stuff on the fly. But ultimately, MIDI is doing all of our changes for the show. So changing presets and changing sounds in between.
Now I know that Mike had said that they change the set list on occasion. Is that something that you guys have to work on the fly, like when that gets changed, or is that you guys already have it?
So it's because the thing that we're doing that's a little bit different is we have an Ableton session here in front of us, and we have all the songs in there already for like my rig and Mark's rig. So that has all the changes on it, and it's getting locators from main playback. So as long as we're like rolling and ready to go, when it's like, hey, now it's waiting for the end, our session automatically jumps to that and changes. So yeah, as a changing set list, that doesn't affect us at all. Yeah.
Yeah. So to kind of add some clarification to that too, like you guys saw Mike's keyboard system. So basically, what he's talking about with the song launch is when we're starting the song, we have one cue person basically that's cueing us from that one point, and we're getting our cue so that we're starting the song now. And as soon as that starts, he has a launch where he triggers his MIDI, and then also have a launch here on the keyboard system. So you saw Mike demo some of the sounds on the rig. There's a list of songs here, and each one will get triggered, and so each song has the tempo information in it, and then our patch changes within that.
I can't remember if it was Mark or Ben, but I think Perry asked the question, was like, what happens if someone's kind of perpetually late on a change? Like when they're playing and the change happens before.
I mean, everybody's
you can drift it, right?
Everyone's expert and pretty on time, but if we notice like always going to this note a little bit early, then we can just kind of get in there and nudge it.
We can nudge it a little bit.
So that,
And we do have the controllers, so sometimes we'll just go off. Like there's sometimes where I'll do a little bit of a different thing because of that particular night. The set maybe we'll change up where that guitar change will happen. Like that happens a little bit on my end. So I'll just kind of read what's happening in the moment. That's changed a couple times where a couple of moments have changed where I brought a guitar out. So I'll just adjust for that on the fly with the foot controller.
When we were building the patches, one of our philosophies, when we went from like fractal, so when I started this gig in 2014, that's when Brad and I think Mike had been using like the Randall kind of like cartridge preamp stuff, and they had like 4 for each amp, so they each had two amps with 4 different sounds, and each song was a combination of those 2 sounds and those amps. So when we started on the fractal, we kind of just went with that philosophy, and each song still to this day, now we were on the XFX 2 10 years ago, 11 years ago, now in the XFX 3s, but we started with that where it's like, okay, this was, a dual rectifier sound, but also had like maybe a JCM 800 sound with it, and kind of just going hard left one, hard right the other. It makes it sound bigger in the room. And yeah, there's just two different sounds. It sounds great in the ears because like we balance it so it sounds good, but just two different amps for every sound. And it varies very much from song to song.
Yeah, like you said, there's a lot of variation, but there's also things that we made early on back when we started on the Fractal 2s and we were starting on changing over from like those amps. At one point there was the dual rectifiers and the modified Marshalls, and then the Randall modules and everything. So those have all those kind of different errors have been emulated in the Fractal. Plus, I'm not sure if you're using them, maybe not. I'm using cabinet IRs that I made off the old cabinets.
Yeah, I was curious
with our
about
old
that.
front of house guy, Pooch. He had certain microphones that he liked to use on those cabinets, so I did IRs of all that stuff, and that's what I'm still using in this Fractal 3.
Okay, so I'm guessing
I brought that all the way over from back when I first did the captures, like way back.
Do you remember any of that information from like the mics or any speakers or the cabinets?
Yeah, I'm still using that stuff in
Okay.
here, like the modeled version of that stuff.
What was it though? Would you
Yeah,
remember?
do you know?
Well,
'Cause
it's an old Randall cabinet that was in the locker that was used live, and
Okay.
there was that position was marked.
Okay.
And there's like an Audio Technica mic that was on there, and then I used just 57 with the Neve and API preamp
All right.
that I have, and then I just have like basically an IR of each of those, and so I use about 4 different ones in the main rhythm sounds for Mike.
Okay.
On his Fractal.
What about you and when it comes to speakers or IRs and
You know,
for Brad
my
and Alex?
kind of philosophy was like I think I use like stock stuff in the Fractal. I used to always want to build a Fractal patch that didn't have any mics in front of it and sounded like you were standing in front of your amp. But then I kind of got to the philosophy, it's like, well, we're using ears, and in the room, people are used to the sound of a guitar. Even on album, it has a mic in front of it.
Yeah.
So eventually, I kind of built a cab setting with certain microphones. I can't even remember what I used, and I just put that on everything. And it's a good counter to mics because mics has a sound.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd sort of have especially in the Fractal with the cab settings, kind of a copy paste stereo that I start with on all the patches.
And with Brad obviously still being in the camp and heavily involved in the
Yeah.
sounds and obviously the record, how does that work with you and him creating these sounds that live in the Fractal?
It's nice, yeah. So Brad is not a touring member of the band anymore, but he's still a creative member of the band. He's part of when they were making the record and stuff like that. So for a lot of the older stuff, we kind of have like, okay, this was like, the heavy sound, and we kind of just stick with the patch. With a lot of the newer songs, I'll get stems and just like, all right, how close can I make the sound to the album? And that gets pretty exciting.
Is that how you started back in 2014 when you were doing the transition from amps to Fractal?
In 2014, when I got hired, it was like, here's stems for 33 songs. And I knew the Fractal, but I didn't like know the Fractal that well. It's like, here's stems for 30 songs, go at it. And fortunately I had enough time to kind of get that going. And then, Brad would come in and be like, oh, this might need a little more distortion, or it's like, actually this is a cleaner sound. And and he'd help define those.
What about your learning curve, Mark?
Well, there's also, we kind of were working on this at the same time on all the Fractal stuff. Like we started doing that whole transition together from those Randall modules and stuff. So we were really kind of going in parallel the whole time. On stuff. We have diverted a little bit. I mean, Mike's rig still uses a couple of old pieces of gear like the Hogs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those Hogs are like a sound of Mike's.
Yeah,
live.
so there's a certain sound with those, and these are the programmable Hog too. So I have these extra controllers. So these will get recalled with the patch.
Okay.
So I'm sending MIDI out of the Fractal to the Hog, and I'm just including that in the patch, and I'm just running it in an audio loop in the Fractal.
Okay, because that's something that couldn't be replicated in the XFX, or at least not up to your standards.
It's getting there. It's actually getting there. The newest update with the envelope follower definitely gets close. Before I wasn't doing it because it didn't have like a proper envelope follower that really matched this, but actually I'm getting really close with it now. I could probably not use this, but I like having it there anyways.
Yeah.
I think over time, here's a secret, like we had those in Brad's rig, and then around 2014, 2015, I just kind of started recreating them in the Fractal, and I was like, oh yeah, sounds good. And I was sort of taking, it just, to me, having that extra pedal, it's an extra point of failure.
Yeah.
So it's like, if I can get everything in the box, just that one thing, great. So like, I was slowly like transitioning to make the Hog effects in the Fractal, and worked fine.
How much of that is kind of a concern? Like I see that the JX44 has like 4 different points of it, where you're trying to find failures before they happen.
It's just about simplifying the rigs as much as you can. So, you know, the least amount of points of failure. I mean, sometimes you just need a rig where you have all these pedals on loops and that's what it is. But the fractals are, to me, just so powerful and so great, and the effects sound so good that it's like, why use some outboard gear if we don't need to?
Yeah. Is there anything else that you guys want to give an explanation or detail that Linkin Park fans will want to know based on this rig before we dive into some of Brad and Alex's guitars?
Yeah, I mean, they might be interested in what this rack is doing. This relates to Mike's keyboard.
Okay.
So this is basically handling all of the audio and USB and networking that relates to his system. So his system has like a 300-foot loom or cable that goes from that keyboard station to this rack. And so that keyboard station moves during the night. It gets shifted to a different position on stage, and with the different stages that we're at and everything, 300 feet seem to work everywhere. But it just needs to be reliably moving around. So the easiest thing was Ethernet for that.
Okay.
So it's basically Ethernet from that system, which is all USB. So you have the native instruments controller and that the pads and everything. That's all USB devices. So that's converting to Ethernet, going to this rack, and then here I'm housing 2 computers, like an A and a B system, that are running those samples and plugins.
All right.
And then this is all just interfacing for audio. So this gives me optical MIDI, and this is for my analog. This is the Prodigy, and that's for my analog outs. So with this system, I can do Dante or MIDI or analog.
You got a lot of options.
With 32 channels.
Yeah, wow.
And so I'm sending things out of multiple channels too. So there's like some sub-low keys. That's going to be down a different set of channels versus the synth stuff, which might be more lead sounds. And then the pianos are on another set of channels. And then I have extra set of channels that are for vocal effects. We're not doing it this time, but should we end up doing like vocoder or any kind of like vocal effect like that, we could run that as part of this system too. We did that on some solo mic stuff where he was doing like a polyverse manipulator at one point, which is pretty neat.
He seems to have a lot of fun up at that station.
Yeah, so I just trying to keep it all open so that we could do that, or even if we needed to sample a vocal or something and manipulate it and record, we could do that all on this rig. Actually, it's like a portable recording system essentially. So,
man, the refrigerators are alive and well in terms of horsepower. Ben, can you talk to us about Alex and Brad's guitars?
Yeah, cool.
Or officially, Ben, you're joining the party for the rig rundown. Thank you.
Awesome. Starring role.
Yeah. Tell us about these guitars.
Yeah, so all the guitars that Alex is playing are Brad's guitars. So we're using all Brad Delson's rig, all of his stuff.
Cool.
But this is one of my favorites. This is, I feel like, an OG Hybrid Theory era guitar. Got the logo on it here. Paul Reed Smith's autograph on the back. The interesting thing about this guitar is that, so ultimately, previously we had 3 identical rigs of guitars.
Wow.
And some fans have recognized, like, that's not, like, where's the original, Hybrid Theory Soldier guitar? It's still around. It's just in one of the rigs that we haven't been using.
Okay.
So I think Paul Reed Smith made those guitars for them. I don't know exactly what year, but I was looking at the years on these guitars. This is a 2008.
Okay.
So I think at a certain point when they were having a second rig and a third rig made, they were like, hey, can you make us some more of those guitars so everything's identical? But yeah, was it Custom 24 PRS, and feels awesome to play.
And what strings are we using?
Yeah, so this guitar is in drop C sharp.
Okay.
So if Brad's playing it, it's D'Addario NYXLs 52 through 10. But I've been putting some heavier gauges on the lower one, so now I have to put my notes in here for it. I've been putting 54, 44, 32.
Okay.
And then 17, 13, 10, which is the rest of the 52 pack.
Is that something more for Alex's?
Yeah, Alex just kind of preferred that. He plays a little heavier than Brad, so it
Okay.
just kind of made the guitar feel a little more natural.
Right on. And have the guitars shifted in tuning now with Emily singing and like her register being different?
Yeah, we can get it. Some of the songs they have changed the pitch on just so her voice sounds stronger in it, which some of the songs like One Step Closer.
Okay.
That song used to be this guitar in drop C sharp, but now we're playing it on this guitar, which is drop D sharp. So it's like a whole step up. And I believe this is the logo from Minutes to Midnight. So this was from that era that they made for Brad. But yeah, then this one I'm putting on what is it, the 46 through 10s,
Okay.
because it's higher. When Brad, all the drop D stuff, Brad would always play 46 through 10, and then everything heavier 52 through 10. So yeah, we've remained with the 56 through 10 on this guitar.
Now, I know that some years and some tours he had a 7-string, Ibanez, I think, back in the day, and then you guys kind of transposed that by doing a 6-string with the B.
Interesting that you bring that
up. What
up.
are we doing there for that?
Yeah, so that was before my time when they made that. I didn't know that he used to actually play a 7-string on stage, because there's, off the first album, there's 2 songs that are basically 7-string.
Okay.
So those he was tuning, B, E, A, D, G, B, E. I think it's the song With You. So I'll get into that. So we started using these guitars, these DC3s, but they're 6 strings, but we tuned them as the low strings of a guitar. So with those songs like With You and Runaway, it was B, E, A, D, G, B. Because we'd actually, the high E string wasn't used, but we had to still keep it in that tuning because there was a harmonic thing that he does on one of those songs. So it still had to be, the low 7 strings. We couldn't do it in then like the, what would it be, an F sharp? I can't remember, and with that, whatever the baritone tuning is. So we haven't done those songs on this tour, but now that this tour has a lot of the drop A baritone stuff, we put some heavier strings on there, and I've been using this as a drop A. So, but still keeping that, still doing A, E, A, D, G, B, and like I said, not doing that F sharp there.
Okay.
Just because I wanted to keep the consistency of like thinking of it as a 7-string without the highest string.
Yeah.
Instead of retuning. And if we did some of those songs, like, oh, now I got to tune this one too. So if we get back to any of those other songs, then I just have to tune this back to B for that one.
What you kind of alluded to, and you mentioned it briefly earlier, was that a slight tweak that you changed for the guitar, how Alex wants to play it. But it's Brad's rig, it's Brad's guitars.
Yeah.
But are there any other changes you have to do, or maybe even within the rig, to tweak that? It might be the same sounds and settings, but that things might not sound right based on like someone's attacking the guitar or anything like that.
Not really. Brad, Alex is pretty consistent with that. Like he's a great guitar player.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that like we've had to change. For that, other than just he's also a taller guy too. He just prefers the heavier strings.
Yeah,
totally makes sense.
Got it.
Yeah.
And I know that you actually had a strap. We saw you guys doing the band jam earlier for line check, and you had a different strap on, so you knew. Yeah. Alex wears it's much lower because he is so tall.
He's taller than me. So when we do roadie sound checks, and I have my shorter strap that I put on, but I make sure it's a different color so I recognize that it's a different strap.
Yeah.
So around the era of the third record, Minutes to Midnight, Brad started playing Strats a lot more. So he was playing the Rory Gallagher Strat. That's when this made an appearance and was a really consistent part of the set for all those songs. Just like, God, the next couple records, it was mostly moved away from PRS and mostly playing the Strat. Yeah, so I got a handful of these Rory Gallaghers throughout the rigs. But then, funny story, when they were making the Hunting Party album, our producer Ethan Mates had this custom shop Strat that Brad played on like the whole record. Mm-hmm. So when we were getting ready to tour, Brad was like, oh, ask Ethan if I can take his guitar on tour with him. And Ethan was like, fuck no. Like, that's my custom shop Strat. Like, nah, you can't take that guitar. And then eventually he was like, well, actually, if he takes that guitar, if he uses that guitar, there's 3 rigs. You're going to have 2 more made.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'll just give him this guitar, and we'll have the custom shop make 3 more, and I'll just take one of those. So this is one of the other custom shop ones that was made. The one that Brad been playing, the orange one that he got from Ethan, that he'd been playing on all those tours. That one's at Brad's house right now.
Okay.
Then, yeah, we had this one that is now this is played almost the whole set.
Yeah.
I think it's to 61 standard. Like it's custom shop, heavily relic, but I think it's made it's like after 61 Strat.
All right.
And then, yeah, and this one has the 52 through 10s on it, played in drop D.
Right on. I'd go into any of the guitars with PRS or anything with even the Strats. Do you know if there's any pickup changes? I know for a while there, Brad had like DiMarzios he was using, but I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? A lot of these guitars, I'm just like, it's what's in them before I showed up, and I never questioned it. But Alex has been playing this guitar as the main drop D guitar the whole time, and there was just something about it. We were using a different guitar, and then we were in rehearsals using a different rig, and he used this one. He's like, this guitar's amazing. Like, I want to play this guitar. I'm like, yeah, cool. So I swapped it out. This has been the main guitar. But just recently he was like, why does this feel so much better than all the other ones? And he's like, could it be different pickups? I was like, I don't think so. So I actually like pulled the pickups out and checked, and it's the, this one compared to the other PRSs, it's the, what is it? HFS or FHS treble pickups in there. Yeah. I haven't checked what's in the neck because we never use the neck, but yeah, it's the same pickups and all those. I think that's the stock ones from that era of PRSs. So
right on.
Yeah, but yeah, this guitar, just something's magic about it too. Just feels great to play.
Which is cool that Brad kind of gave Alex a little leeway in terms of like, if you like a guitar, you know, that's the sound, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's still
it's a PRS.
the guitars. Yeah.
They're still Brad's.
Yeah. Oh, hidden in here. Card game Coup that the crew fucking loves to play. We play this all the time. Yeah, we always got to have one around so we can all play that game. Officially endorsed. No. What else? I think that covers like most of the main guitars. Brad plays a 72 millimeter, 0.72 millimeter Dunlop pick.
Nice.
And Alex has the the 88 millimeter. So Alex likes a little bit heavier, but yeah.
I could tell there's a difference.
Yeah. I mean, you try to bend it. Yeah. And then the other, let's see, I think that covers, there is a couple songs where, we do have the, A Place for My Head is the only time, this is in E flat standard, another one of the Soldier guitars. That's the only song in E flat standard.
So it's like E flat standard, drop D.
Yeah, there's like 7 tunings. So drop D, you know, the one song, is it Good Things Go? Tune the Strats to E standard. And then with the song Casualty, realize that one, there's 2 parts that Alex is playing. There's kind of this like bendy thing where there's a string ringing out, and realize like, oh, that guitar, that bendy part was in a half step down guitar, but the riff itself is in drop D. So we kind of then, so for that song, when that one comes up, I tune the high E string to D sharp. So it's like, D, A, D, G, B, E sharp. So you can do the bendy thing with the, string and then go into the riff. But yeah, so mostly we have like 5 tunings, but when you really break it down, there could be like 7 or 8 tunings, but not all those songs appear in every set.
Got it. Well, Ben, thank you so much. We're going to quickly cruise through Dave's gear with a friendly face that you guys will meet in a second. All right, Tracy, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, man, it's been, 7 or 8 years since we've seen you with Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah, it is. Bass tech extraordinaire. Now you're with Dave, so talk to us about his basses, man.
Well, okay, let's start here with the main, what I consider the main bass. It gets played the most, and this is a custom shop P bass. It's our latest one we just got. And
do you know what songs he uses? I know it's the main one, so it probably gets used quite a bit.
Uses it on Emptiness Machine. And Burn It Down. And I could just rattle off a bunch more here off the set list. It gets on New Divide, Catalyst.
Really
Bleed It Out, songs. Heavy as the Crown.
Okay.
So it goes between standard and drop D.
All right.
So it gets swapped depending how the set runs. Sometimes all the drop D songs are in the beginning and the standard songs are at the end, and that's easy. But sometimes they throw a standard in there and it goes back to drop D and then back to standard. Yeah. So I'm swapping this one and the backup. Between those. So I have another P bass here.
Tracy, what strings is Dave using across the board?
We're using Ernie Ball Slinkies.
Nice. And do you like standard, I guess?
Standard 105 through 45.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Keep talking to us about some basses here.
Okay, here's
I know we're short in time, so we'll cruise through them.
Beauty right here. This Music Man right here gets you the second most used bass, and it's in drop C sharp.
And is this an active guitar or an active bass?
It is an active bass, yes. And it sounds amazing. This is a great sounding bass.
What songs do you know?
Paper Cut and points of authority.
All right.
And I'm going blank here. I have a little camera. It also gets used on In the End.
All right.
And a few others. Yeah.
It's a beauty.
Yeah.
Looks pretty clean. It must have got it just before the tour.
It was around when I started, so
right.
I don't know its history. I
Yeah,
really
it's
don't.
very
But yeah,
clean.
it is very nice. And
Yeah.
it's a neck through, unlike all the others that are
Nice.
bolt on. This one is a neck through, and you can hear the difference. It
all
really
right.
is a solid sounding bass.
What do we got next?
Now this one here is Dave's OG
Wow, yeah.
Stingray, and he told me that his mom bought him for this.
Wow.
Bought him this bass.
Cool, Mom.
And yeah. And it's been around for a long time,
You
and
can tell.
I know it means a lot to him.
Yeah. It's cool that he still tours with it, maybe
Yeah.
not keep it home.
Absolutely.
Why not bring it out?
Yeah,
I'm
and
sure a
we
lot of fans
use this on Somewhere I Belong and Faint,
right on.
and a couple others. So yeah.
And as you grab the next bass, Tracy, what picks does Dave use? Because I know he goes back and forth throughout the set, fingerstyle and pick.
We're
he-
using these Dunlop picks right here, and they're 88s.
Oh, okay.
And just
Right on. Cool. What's another bass we should see or get introduced to?
Well, a 5-string over here that this is tuned down a whole step, so it's in A.
All right.
And we use this on Let You Fade.
Now, on a given night, I know that it changes with the set list, but how many basses do you think you rotate through, assuming everything goes well? Like how many, is it 4 or 5 basses, or is it?
About 6 a night, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And then this is the main 5-string?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I've got a backup for it, and it gets on the set list about once every third show.
Okay. What about this drop? I see some drop C basses. We haven't introduced any of those yet.
Well, here we have, this gets played on Crawling.
Oh, all right.
And it's in drop D sharp.
Okay.
And it gets played every night. This has one of those nice new beautiful
Oh yeah.
straps that
Killspencer.
we have here. Killspencer. That's right.
Now, when you're setting up basses for Dave, is it based on obviously what he prefers, but his playing style being on certain basses? Is he asking for certain things for certain basses?
Not really. I do what I feel is right for the most part,
Right on.
and he seems to be okay with that.
A happy customer?
And he's a very happy customer. Yeah. So I mean, obviously on the drop C sharp, or I have a drop C over here, a little more relief in the neck.
Okay.
And overall, he likes fairly normal action. It's not super ridiculously low like some people like. And it's,
No, I know that he goes, like I said, between the picks and fingers, and I know to do so he's holding on to the pick. How many picks are you feeding him a night? Because I feel like
not a lot.
fumbling.
He'll hang
You can
on to the
fumble it.
same one the whole night.
Oh, there you go.
If he can.
Yeah.
But I mean, usually when he comes down here between songs, there's about 3 points in the set where the band will come down here and take a little break.
Yeah.
And I'll hand him a new pick.
Yeah.
Sometimes he'll still have the same one in his hand and go, nah, don't need it today. But
Now, what should we know about his rack setup? I know the guys had talked about the guitar stuff, but for Dave, what's he running for the Fractal? Like, what kind of are the key patches, or maybe amps that are simulated
it's
or
pretty
modeled?
straightforward Ampeg SVT.
Okay, because that's what he used for years.
Yeah, and a direct and a Marshall JMP1 for distortion. And
Okay.
all of those run together, and front of house engineer can mix that however he likes.
All right.
But it's usually pretty much one mixture of the 3 together. It makes a nice sound.
Wow.
The direct gives a nice solid punch on the bottom.
Yeah.
And then you have your Ampeg sound, and then that JMP1 just kind of giving it some envelope of distortion around there.
Now,
So-
I didn't ask the guys this, but there's no cabs or anything on stage, right? Everyone's in-ears.
All in here.
Yeah,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
And for Dave's, do you know what speakers are being used, or IRs, or anything like that when it comes
Pretty
to that
much
stuff?
just a standard 810
What if-
cabinet.
Oh,
Yeah. Actually, on the Fractal, it's 2 410 Ampeg cabinets.
okay.
But, yeah.
Well, Tracy, and I know Mark and Ben, who've been a great help, and of course Mike, who started off the video. Thank you guys all for your time, Tracy. I really
Oh, you're
appreciate
welcome.
it.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you guys
Always.
again. Stay safe and keep watching.
All right.
The reason we only stock D'Addario strings is because D'Addario strings are perfect.
When people come in here, they think that we get them for free or something like that, but we don't. We have no other reason except for dependability and tone.